What's up, guys? Lucas Still and Steven Talbot with Optimum Athletes. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to talk about college choice, and as this, high school season comes to an end here, it's coming down to the wire for some guys making their choices on where to go to college. So I just kind of want to give some advice, some things to look out for, and some things to be aware of, and all that. Steve, you got any initial thoughts on that whole process?
Yeah, kind of a unique year this year. Well, the last few years, really, with COVID going on. So, I mean, we're going to try to give insight on what we tell our guys here and what we think the best avenue is for a certain type of athlete and certain type of position. And that there's a lot more choices a lot of times than many people want to accept.
Definitely.
There's a lot, not just in baseball, but for school too. There's a lot of universities out there. So, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. It's kind of off the bat, the first thing that I would say to keep in mind is what's important to you, right? So a lot of people, ourselves included in high school, kind of said D1 or die, and that's great if you can play there and you can find a good fit at the D1 level. But the status of playing D1 baseball might not be the most important thing if your overall goal is to play baseball as long as you can and to develop and to be able to actually, see the field. If playing past college and just becoming the best version of yourself as a baseball player that you can be, the status or level probably shouldn't be the first thing that you look at when choosing a school.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard now too with, I know how it is with social media, and you're constantly, hounded with these posts, Division I, your friends, family, whoever it may be, guys that you might not see, that they may not be better than you, whatever you think it is, but that doesn't really matter. You got to get past that. I think that's a big first step, is kind of getting off that, poor me mentality on the internet. It's your life. You take it for what it is. Like Lucas said, there's a lot of choices, and it's about what's best for you. And like you said playing time. I mean, I think it was you that didn't Cal off, somebody from Cal had told you could have came and been like a backup first baseman looking to get playing time. Yeah. But I mean, that wasn't really your goal with the situation. You wanted to pitch, it would have been great. You could have easily got in, your grades were good enough, but you knew at that point choices, you wanted to play. And that was, it took your career, and you ended up going to Willamette and you had a fine career. So that initial choice, knowing yourself, is important, I think.
Yeah, Cal was my dream school growing up, and I went to a couple different camps, and I don't even know if it was an assistant coach or a volunteer coach or something, saw me a couple times. And after the third camp, I was just like, all right, just be honest with me. Like, where do you see me going? And he's like, yeah, you could probably go D1 as a first baseman, get 30 at-bats in your career.
Yeah. Say you went D1.
Say you play D1, get the social media posts, get all the likes. Or you can go D2, D3, or NAIA, probably two-way, and play every day.
For sure.
I don't know, just sit in the bench didn't seem like that fun to me. So I ended up going the D3 route and then bounced back to JUCO and then wound up at NAIA. So I kind of had a crazy road, as you did too. But
yeah, absolutely.
We've, through our experiences, kind of seen a lot of things. And through experiences of people we train or our friends, we've also seen, the shortcomings of, choosing the first school that's interested in you, which also is something to look out for.
Yeah, good point.
And that's not saying that the first school that's interested in you is going to be a bad school, but we've seen guys kind of start to hit their breakthrough, whether it's a velo jump on the mound or start to, hit home runs and start to, find their power at the plate, their junior, senior year of high school. And that first D1 school that is interested in them, that gives them the offer they take without even knowing a lot about the coaches, knowing a lot about the program, knowing a lot about their development process. So just some things to kind of talk to a coach that's interested in you. Ask them, what do they do to develop guys? So if the plyo balls are important to you, if whatever it is that's important to you, lifting heavy as a pitcher, whatever it is that you think is beneficial for your performance on the field and beneficial for your career, see if they do it. And if they're strongly against it, then it might not be the best fit for you.
Yeah, especially if that's something you need to do and you perform at your peak level you've been doing for 2-3 years now, since it's been popular, whatever it may be, whatever training method it is. But that's the thing. I think it all comes down to being able to ask good questions. And it's really hard at 17, 18 years old to ask good questions when you don't really understand what's going on. All you know is, hey, I want to go play D1 baseball. This coach called, told me I'm the best person in the world. Here I go. And it takes some maturity to listen to this and say, we highly advise, if you can step back and really ask good questions, not only are you going to impress the people at that university, but you'll be able to understand, hey, can I fit in here for 4 years? That is a long sum of your life. I mean, not in retrospect for the next 4 years, though. You're becoming, a grown man or woman. You're changing, 18 to 22, whatever it may be. It's an important time in your life. And I think if you can ask those good questions, not only about your degree, your major, baseball, how you can train, what you guys do at practice. Hey, coach, let me come watch a practice. Give me your practice plan. What's it look like? How will I fit into the mix here? So that's what it is for me. Like you said, ask good questions. Can you do it? Show that you're interested in your development personally. I think it's huge.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of a fear factor of, being a kid in high school and that first school is interested in you. You don't want to kind of ask questions to, piss off the coach or to make it ask anything that maybe you guys don't see eye to eye on and they end up not recruiting you because maybe you think, oh, this might be the only school that'll take a chance on me. Yeah. But something that Casey used to say a lot is be willing to bet on yourself. And if the worst case scenario is you go JUCO,
oh, come on,
especially in Sacramento where we've got some of the best JUCOs around and you can play for a coach like Bomber or, these other coaches. I know the coach just left at Delta, but there's just a plethora of good coaching out there, especially in this area for junior college. And they're huge on developing guys at most junior colleges.
It's come a long way. I mean, it's awesome.
And, if you just look at the guys that are coming out of the JUCOs in this area and where they're going to school, it's clear that they are getting those offers that they might not have gotten out of high school because they got better over their 2 years at those schools. So that's a huge thing. Being able to ask those tough questions. And the information's out there, right? Like you can go and look up a school's roster online and DM one of their players and just say, hey, like what's school like for you? Do they actually practice this? Out of junior college, I went to Westmont and I was able to talk to Rob Hill, who we had trained with at Driveline, and get a inside look at kind of what practice was like. And it was crazy to me that there was a university out there that
at that time
that the pitchers practice revolved around their arm curl routine, and they would get there and warm up and then do their plyo ball routine and then do whatever they had.
It wasn't just bands and
you had a 30 to 45 minute warm up process. You got your throwing in, you had a 30-minute recovery process. Yeah, of course we had to shag BP sometimes and do some PFPs and all of that, but the bulk of our practice was around development, which was foreign to me based on the schools that I'd gone to before.
So foreign.
Yeah, so schools are out there at every level that are like that, and if you're looking to develop, Westmont, obviously, I'm going to always speak highly of at NAIA, but there's schools at D3, D2, D1.
You can find them.
That are, that will prioritize your development over just getting wins. So being able to talk to those coaches, looking for those schools that offer the things that are most important to you. If you don't really care about playing past college and you want to go and you want to play and you want to, be a D1 guy, then don't ask those questions about those things, or don't maybe say no to a school if they don't have that. But it starts with just kind of knowing yourself and what you're looking for in a school. Yeah. And while everyone would love to go D1 and play on TV and play at these big universities,
everybody wants that. That's great.
But if you go to one of these schools and you don't see the field, and you never develop, and then your career's over, that might not be a best choice for you in the long run. If instead you could go to a school that was maybe a little smaller, that developed you, and you went from an 86 to 88 guy, and now your senior year, you're touching 95, and you're getting drafted, and now you're going to go play a 10-year pro career. So
yeah, exactly. And that's that coming off what you said again. That's the thing. It's any coach, like you say, you reach out. You can reach out to anybody, and if you just reach out and say, any coach, in my opinion, it should be comfortable enough telling you, here's my program, here's our standards, here's what we do, and I'm comfortable with that, wins or losses aside. Because their job is not only to create good baseball players, but they're trying to create good people. They want you to go out in the world and be successful no matter what you do, in my opinion. So their program is, it's dedicated to helping you, yes, develop on the field, but 10 times more important, usually 90% of the people I don't know the status don't go play pro ball. But you can take the things you learn at these places, big or small, it doesn't matter if you do the right research, and you can use it in everyday life, and I think that's really important. That's what you're at school for anyway. So like Lucas said, don't be afraid to be uncomfortable. Bet on yourself. You got to be able to do it. And I think if you can just take anything from this, be willing to get uncomfortable in those situations, because the quicker you can do that, the more you're going to reap the benefits. Yeah.
And there's, something that Ryan says all the time here is, impact the person, the player will follow.
Correct.
And there's a lot of coaches that believe in that. And again, I'll always speak highly of Westmont, but playing for Coach Ruiz and Coach Segula, they're two of the best coaches I played for. And just the way they actually took interest in your life and took interest in who you are as a person, and then also your development. was just like far and above what I had experienced before, and I'm sure you had a similar experience with Jake McKinley and T-Pain and these other guys.
The small time I had over there, yeah.
And to be clear, again, it doesn't, just because a school's a D1 does not mean that they don't have coaches like that, and you can find coaches like that at every level, and you can find great people that are willing to bet on you, invest in you, 100%. Invest in your development, have similar philosophies to you. So we're not here just knocking D1 programs. We're just saying that if chasing the D1 title is all that's important to you, you might miss out on all these benefits from a school that could be a better fit for you. So take all that into consideration. Think about what is important to you and what is your main priority before you go into these meetings. Think about what questions you want to ask these coaches that reach out to you in order to figure out the best fit for you.
Yeah, 100%. Do your research.
So I think that's about
Sign a contract.
Yeah, sign a contract. But again, just one other possible thought towards like NAI or D2, D3 that we just kind of want to debunk is that they're not good level baseball, or that you can't get drafted out of there. Like
come on.
At Westmont, we had scouts there at most of our games. We had 2 guys drafted. I guess they were both signed because it was COVID and there was a five-round draft, but signed to play pro ball. One's with the Angels, one's with the Cubs. We had, a bunch of D1 bounce backs. At Willamette, we played some schools that had guys that were getting looked at and getting drafted. So go where you're going to play. In the GSAC, there's a bunch of guys drafted in total. So
JUCO levels, you can go look at a big league roster, find out who went to these types of schools. They're everywhere.
So going to a D2, D3 JUCO NAI does not mean that your career is over after college.
No.
And it could actually be the exact opposite if the school is going to develop you and put your development and training first and actually prioritize getting better over your time there. So yeah, do your research, see what's important to you, and the label of what level the school is might not be the most important thing. That's about my main takeaway.
Yeah, work your butt off.
So if you guys got any further questions, let us know. But
anytime.
Besides that, we'll see you next time.
Peace.